us right now, because this race just started in real time anyway. Although by the time you hear this, it started 15 seconds ago. Look, the race is about to start, so we're gonna sync up here. Fiesel's gonna let me know when these guys exit the palace, I guess. Let's say.
Yep.
Except I think his mic is muted.
Yeah, well, anyway, I just got them both exiting the palace and entering the magic cave, actually, the first one.
Yep, my mic was muted. Sorry. I'll let you know when someone grabs the jar.
Yep.
Link is getting it now.
Which Link?
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so useless.
So we got orange and sevens.
Yep.
Today.
Okay, orange is going to be leaving this cave right. Wait for it. Now and then now for the other Link.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I figured one of us was going to do it. So. Anyway, meanwhile, thanks for sticking with us for another wonderful Zelda 2 race. As you've plainly seen, we have got two Links going at it this time. We have the orange version and the All Lucky Sevens version. Orange getting a little excited there in the Magic Cave because he got the 50p bag drop there. So that's going to make things a little bit different or more interesting now because he won't have to stop to get the bonus experience from either early Trophy Cave or the Forest, while Lucky Sevens is going to have to stop there or take the chance on the 25% 200p bag drops.
Yeah, 25% comes from getting two 50-50 drops in a row. That's how that math works out. I know most people didn't take odds and stats in high school, but that's how that works out. And if you only need one, it's a 75% chance that you're going to get at least one. So players often will go out of their way to try to manipulate the 50-point bag, which will create that situation where they only need one and bump their chance of getting attack 4 and Palace 1 easily from 25 to 75% chance.
Well, Linko managed to get the P bag there, but I don't know about what Link 7's chances are here. He's did not go for any extra experience from anything, so maybe he's hoping for the 200 bags, like what we saw BB shoot for in the previous race.
That's...
come on, bubble skip.
No bubbles, please!
Yeah, neither player getting the bubble skip, so we still have a pretty close race here.
Yep, the differential here is probably going to come after Palace 1, depending on how those random drops come out, because if one's leaving with attack 4 and the other with attack 3, you can definitely see some variation just because of the way or how long the attack will take to... the damage will do on enemies. Wow, I can't talk. I'm switching over to you guys. I'm taking a break.
Okay.
Picking up the heart container, moving back to the bubble section. It's actually possible to do another encounter skip on the way back, but no one even tries. It's really hard to do. And, there's considering the way the first one went, I can't say that they're too confident in doing it on the way back. Even though going on the way back is dangerous, the bubbles always knock you to the right. So when you're trying to go to the left, it seems to me a little more likely that you're going to get knocked backwards into a pit from these bubbles, but both of them are through okay. We've seen, even some pretty good players get tagged by these bubbles, and it puts them in a bad situation right off the bat and influences, a lot of their early game decisions that can kind of snowball out of control in a really bad way. So it's good that despite the sort of P-bag drop disparity between these players, that both of them are keeping on top of things, and they're staying with each other through Palace 1 here so far.
Yep.
That's right. Link 7's is going to have a bit of a harder time going through here, though. He's going to need two 200 bag drops, which, as Myth said, there's only a 25% chance, whereas Linko has got 75% chance because he only needs one of them. Either player might get lucky and get a random 50 bag drop, but I think that's only really going to benefit Link 7's.
I got confused for a moment which stream was which, and so I looked at the chat to kind of figure it out, and everyone's like, "You got this, Link," and I'm like, "God damn it!"
Not helping.
So this. In addition to being a Zelda 2 race, it's also going to be the Troll the Commentators race.
Yep. We'll deal with it. We'll figure it out. Jumping over the Stalfos, this is a neat little... Oh wait, the different Stalfos, I think. But there's a neat little thing. I think Fiesel came up with it, this sort of optimization to squeeze. No, you didn't?
I don't think I did, but I've
popularized it?
I don't know. I certainly suggested it to a few people, but I think I didn't come up with that originally.
You evangelized it.
I guess.
You never respond very, very strongly or affirmatively whenever I try to give you some kind of credit. Yeah.
This is a game that so many people have worked on. I don't even know what stuff I made up and what stuff I just saw other people do. Like, I don't remember where it occurred to me to do that or why it occurred to me to do that. It's just something that made sense, but I'm pretty sure someone else thought of that.
You should take advantage of that situation. I was the one.
Sure, I'll just name this one after me, name that trick after me.
The Fees dance.
Now, most of the stuff I do, I just either copied from Simple Dude's route or I copied it from Arctic Eagle's old routes. So we see, actually, we didn't see Link strike the wall on the left. Link 7's strike the wall on the left. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, oops.
Took a death from that Stalfos that we like to skip here. An early death. Oh, he strikes the wall up there instead, and that's the other way to set up the skull bubble to spawn a little bit lower so you can jump over him. And here Link 7's doesn't need to strike the wall to set up the manipulation here because he has Beam Sword, so he can just Beam Sword these things. Didn't go too well for him though, and now his pattern's all screwed up.
The Beam Sword I find is a little weird. You don't have it very often when you're a beginning player. You tend to get hit by something. So easy to get hit in this game, and you lose that Beam Sword when you don't have full health. So you don't have it very often. You probably don't even practice with it very often. And then when you do have it, it's something about the way it moves, the way it comes out of your sword at whatever time during your attack animation. It just seems like it's hard to place it where you want that Beam Sword to be.
Uh-oh, we're in the danger zone here. Link 7's has now taken his second death, right? His second accidental death here. So this is going to really affect his strats for the rest of the game. One death, you can make that work. 2 deaths, now you got to start deciding what you're going to take out of your route.
Actually, in some ways, it's fortunate that all these deaths have happened as early as Palace 1, because he does have to pass by the starting palace. And it'd be a little slow to take another death somewhere around there, but he could intentionally game over. This category is normally sort of has this game overless requirement, and it's called 1 credit clear. You know, a little arcade reference, and it's this tournament would be kind of crappy if game over just meant you totally lose, you're out of the race. So a rule has been implemented for all kind of Zelda 2 races that you can game over, you're not out of the race, but you have to return to exactly where you were when you died. If you're in a palace, you need to go back to that room. If you're in the overworld, you need to go back to that tile. And what that means is you can't take an advantageous death, because there are opportunities to warp back to the starting palace, and that's sort of the faster thing. I just saw red jars here.
He got the first one though, so he's still okay.
Okay. So game overs, you do have to return to the spot where you died. Normally, that's a big time loss, 2 to 5 minutes. But if you die right outside the starting palace, close call there with Horsehead, but he gets it done. That's a relatively fast way to take a game over and refill your lives. I don't know whether or not it's worth it. It's sort of an option he has, and we'll see what he does.
If I was in the lead and I was about to have that happen to me, I probably would. And Link 7's gets his 200 bag drop. Let's see. Oh, he's only up to 17.
Yep. He got the red jar the second time.
First time.
First time.
Yeah. Oh, so and to answer your chat, if you game over after the hammer, the rules don't say you have to take the same path back to where you died. So if you have the hammer and you need to go back to the hammer room, you can absolutely take the short path by the first town there of Rauro, which is where you get shield.
Yeah, Shield Town. That's what you meant, right?
Yes, Shield Town.
You said there was some mumbling
No, Rauro. That's the actual name of the town.
Rauru. He's the light sage in Ocarina of Time.
Yes, the first
That's
one.
how
When you don't have to
yeah.
rest.
The one who you don't know who the hell he is because he just shows up all of a sudden and you're like, why do I care about you at all? That guy.
Yep.
Rauru.
Yeah, Rauru. So meanwhile, as we're trying to figure out how to pronounce certain names, Linko has made his way into the Tantari Desert and has gone to the Trophy Cave. Call it such because you get the trophy in there. The trophy is a sort of representative idol of the town of Ruto, where we are heading next, and it was stolen by that very angry gorilla. So you go as the hero of Hyrule and rescue the trophy, then you return it to Ruto, and once you return it to Ruto town, you get access to the sage in the basement, where you get the jump spell.
What? It's Ruto now? I thought you were saying it was Rauru. I'm getting all confused.
No, this one is Ruto. Shield Town is Rauru.
Well, Shield Town is Shield Town. I think we're having some serious miscommunication here.
I thought I was muted anyway.
Yeah, this has been one hell of a strange
Yes.
comedy act here with only one of us.
Yeah, so you're the one who actually
Whoa.
looks like you're crazy right now. And, ooh, Link.
So
Here it is.
There's
Game
potential
over.
game over.
Game over
Oh, okay,
here.
there you go.
Yep.
And that's good thinking by him. That's a nice, quick way to die, a quick place to die, and he's got to go back into that cave, but he doesn't have to go to that very screen. He just needs to go into that room.
Yep.
But yeah, that's good thinking there, and he even saves a little bit of time walking out. It almost pays for itself.
Mm-hmm.
If he can avoid these encounters, though, he is just getting bombarded by these encounters here.
Yep, very, very rarely are these encounters in this first area a problem, but here they go. So
Yeah,
there he is.
This is
Game
just not a
over.
thing people normally do, so you don't have any encounter manipulation
Yeah.
set up for the backup strats.
Right.
Linkorange, though, with
Really.
quite a lead, and if he can manage to keep this lead, I think he's probably got the game pretty well under control here, considering he has a PB that is 5 minutes better than Link 777. Linkorange does.
Yep, this is one of the earlier loser bracket matches. So, I think one of these players is sort of like the lowest seed of the tournament. though.
Sevens.
Yeah, 7. So I'm pretty sure both actually have improved quite a bit since those PBs were posted. But definitely not the strongest player. So I'm actually very impressed that he was able to kind of think on the fly to take that game over there.
Well, part of the reason for Sevens' seeding is actually because when the seeding for the tournament took place, he didn't either have a PB or didn't submit one. So any players who didn't have a PB or didn't submit one were seeded at the end. And I believe it was just in order of how they registered. So that's why he is, even though he's the 42nd seed in the tournament based on where the seeding was, his PB is higher than quite a few people who are above him seed-wise.
Ah, so he's like a dark horse kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Interesting. Almost a death there for Orange, getting through the forest on the way to Bagu. It's very hard to get through there without any encounters. And if you get a forest encounter, it's pretty hard to get through there without taking a hit. But he's through there, and I mean that kind of those close calls are the kind of things that he really just does not need. He's got enough of a lead here where he can play it safe, probably for the rest of the game. It is kind of early, but it's going to be accidental deaths and game overs that lose him this race for sure.
And since we're talking about town names, the town that Linko is currently in is the river town of Saria. I know everybody knows that name who's played Ocarina of Time. But in the town of Saria, there are two things we're going to do. The first thing that you just saw there was Link, the character, not the player, went into that house and looked under the table where he found a mirror. The lady he just talked to lost said mirror. When you return her mirror to her, you get access to the sage in the basement, which gives you the life spell. The second thing we're going to be doing here is that Bagu we just went and visited. He gives us a note to give to the Riverman, and once we give the note to said Riverman, a bridge magically appears, and we get to cross the bridge to the other side of the river to make our way to Death Mountain.
And Link 7's there with another death. He was able to think on his feet and kind of recover from those deaths with that game over. But from now on, that game over, any sort of game over is going to be a big time loss, pretty much. And I mean, I guess if you got the hammer and then made your way back through that boulder and then near the palace, that'd be okay. But either way, he's got to be feeling a little shaky here after these deaths, and you need to really not be shaky when you're this far behind. So we'll see if he can rally here. Hold on.
Hey, as we've seen throughout this tournament, anything is possible. I've seen several lead changes due to game overs in like Palace 5, for example.
And anything can happen. There's still plenty of game left to go.
That's right. In Death Mountain, we've seen claim a few victims here.
Yep.
Linkorange coming into it right now. He's going for Magic 2 pretty early on. I like to save Magic 2 last. Maybe taking Life 3 would be a good first thing to take, but I don't know, people have different opinions on what order to take these things in, so we'll see if this pays off for him.
Yeah, my question, though, is at that point he was at full life, so if you're going to take Magic 2 and Life 3 and you're at full life, why not take Magic 2 and save the refill for when you possibly would need it a little bit later down the road?
Yeah, maybe so. It's just that when you're at Life 3, things do less damage to you, so you're less likely to get into that situation. And the longer you save Magic 2, the better, because it basically can give you a free cast of the life spell at some point, which is almost going to completely refill your health. You got 5 boxes and it refills 3, so it's tough. And I actually sometimes like saving Magic 2 to the Palace 2, so you can have a refill there to be able to cast Fairy for free.
Yep. So yes, so this is the end of the extended shopping portion here of the race. Normally the game intends you to get jump and shield, do Palace 1, get life, do Palace 2, get downstab, get fairy, do Palace 3, all of that stuff. But we here in the speedrunning community like to take things, do things fast. So the fastest way to do it is to get all the fun stuff first, then use it through palaces you weren't necessarily intended to get it for. So this is the longest time you will see in the game between palaces, but it's a good thing because we get all kinds of delicious toys to play with. As we said, we've already got the life spell, and once we make it through Death Mountain and get the hammer, we'll be picking up the downstab technique and the fairy spell. And then once we get all of that shopping done, we will finally make our way to Palace 2.
Yeah, and we'll actually be all checked off for Palace 3 as well, so that'll be directly after Palace 2. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves right now. We got Death Mountain. Sevens has got himself into a sticky situation here. I was going to say he was using the beam sword to really zone out these enemies and play it really safe, but kind of got away from him there, and now he's dancing with these bats. And with attack 3, he's also going to have to deal with some pretty troublesome enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just I'm just a little worried about him. I guess that's how I'll put it. And I'm not seeing a lot of confidence in his play here.
Well, at this point, it's one of those situations where if you haven't done any sort of tournament or competitive thing before, and you're used to either doing PB things or haven't done it, when you get into a situation like that, if something goes the way you're not expecting it to, you don't necessarily know how to recover just because you've never experienced it before. And that's going to come with the more you do sort of competition-like races, the more you're going to be able to adapt on the fly to things. So I would say that's more of a lack of experience in these type of situations. At least that's what I'm gathering from it.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised if, he didn't expect he was going to end up on one of these restreams. So that's for people who, most of us don't get 200, 300 viewers when we stream Fiesel. But that's gotta affect you just a little bit at least when you know all these people are watching. So I think we're seeing some compound issues building up here, and it's giving him a hard time. So we're gonna see how he deals with all these things he's got to worry about. Getting a jar drop there, so he is gonna get a nice life refill, but I think what he's looking for at this point are P-bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just did have an accidental death in that previous room, so I think he's down to his last life again.
He is.
So back in the danger zone, we might see another intentional game over just to get that refilled. Linkorange, meanwhile, has finished Spectacle Rock. He got the hammer. He came out of here. He grabbed this magic jar, so he's well on his way. And another unlucky monster spawn. Usually people will duck back into the Spectacle Rock cave for a moment just to reset the timer, so you won't get an encounter there. But he decided he was going to go for it. It's a little bit faster if you don't go for it, or if you don't duck back into the cave. But then you have that chance of that right there happening.
So Seven's going to have to be very careful here, because if he is planning on taking that second game over, he's going to want to do it after he picks up the hammer. Because by doing that, if he picks up the hammer, he can take the short way back here, which is by breaking the rock south of Shield Town. Whereas if he dies before he gets the hammer, he's going to have to take the long way around.
Yeah, ideally he can make his way pretty much all the way back to the palace.
Right.
Die somewhere along there.
However, the other thing is, keep in mind that directly after this, you have access to 2 1-ups, the one in the graveyard and the one in the swamp by the Water of Life cave.
Yeah, at this point he may even consider skipping one or both of those 1-ups and getting them later. I don't know. But Linkorange definitely going for that 1-up, getting the graveyard 1-up.
At this point, he's definitely going to be playing it safe, nice and consistent, do everything he can to prevent a game over, because that is what it's going to take for this to get away from him.
Forcing another encounter right there to the left of the boulder, and that's trying to set up a skip that we're calling the Boulder Dash. So that resets the encounter timer and the step encounter that controls the 2 encounters that you get in the overworld. And right there he gets both encounter sets to appear right at the same time. As he's walking off that path, he gets them behind him, and he makes it all the way up to Medicine Cave without getting into another encounter. Very good.
And the medicine that Fiesel is referring to is an item that we need to pick up to bring to the harbor town of Mido, where once we give this to the old woman who is looking for it for her sick grandchild, I believe it's a grandchild anyway, I couldn't be wrong, no one actually looks at the text anymore, so once you give it to her, you get access to the sage in her basement, which gives you the fairy spell.
Yeah, Linkorange, you can definitely tell is a more confident player. The strats that he's using are a little bit more high level. We saw right there the very last red Dyra that he killed. He hit 3 times and then jumped over and delivered the 4th and final hit from the other side. That's just very slight time savings that people do sometimes when they're feeling really confident. But little stuff like that I'm noticing, it really shows me the difference between a PB 130 and a PB 125 player. It's little stuff like that. That's where those extra 5 minutes come from. And Link 7's ducks into that cave and the second cave here. He's going to be 100% certain he gets no encounters. He does not want to mess with encounters there at all. Linkorange, meanwhile, goes through that boulder square, which spawns a bunch of monsters, and he fortunately gets them all to spawn behind him, so he doesn't have a path encounter there. Good for him. But
go ahead.
I was just saying, can he cast jump here or what?
That's exactly the same question I was going to ask, so...
We'll all find out together.
I think that he can't. Yeah, he's going to have to do another walk of shame. So many things we call the walk of shame, but this one is one of the, the more unfortunate ones. He's got to walk all the way past to get his magic refilled, and then he can go up here and cast jump.
That's not so bad. When I heard this described, I was picturing like several screens of town travel.
Nope.
This Dyra on this bubble bridge that Sevens is dealing with here, and well, dealt with, rather, tripped him up. So here he goes. He goes for the 1-up here after this bridge, which tells me that he's not planning on any more game overs. He's just gonna hold on, tough it out. So I don't think he's going to be able to set up... No, he's going to wait. He's going to wait here on this monster tile. Set up that boulder dash. Meanwhile, we got Orange getting... this would be the fairy spell? Yeah. Very, very cool, very fun spell with a lot of utility. Gets you around places. There's certain places you absolutely need it to get through, and You can also use it to avoid monsters if you want to play it safe, and you can use it to save time if you want to play risky, because fairy costs a lot of magic to use early on. But you can use it to skip the item pickup animation. That's about 3 to 4 seconds, I think, and at the cost of a whole bunch of magic, you can decide to save 3 or 4 seconds in a couple spots.
And Link getting a very lucky red jar drop there because he doesn't have enough to cast the jump spell.
That's right.
But now he does.
Yep.
Orange moving into Heart Container Cave here. We'll see how his encounters go once he gets out of here. It looks like he equipped Fairy there. Because the walk to Palace 2 through the swamp is often quite treacherous. There aren't too many guaranteed ways to get through there super quick. I think we did see Simple Dude manage to dash through there with absolutely 0 encounters. Very, very rare that happens. So we'll see how he chooses to go about manipulating the encounters. Does not opt to dip into the cave. That's one strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to wait on the path either.
Bombarded by the next set of enemies.
Yeah, gets punished for it.
And you saw him cast Fairy there in the Heart Container Cave. One, the reason he's doing that, as we've already said, it's faster to do that. But two, coming up here at the beginning of Palace 2, the Swamp Palace, you're going to see him stab at this statue. And this statue is guaranteed to drop a red jar, which will refill all of his magic. You're going to see several statues and blocks like that throughout the rest of the game. So in certain palaces 1, 2, and 5 to be specific, those ones are guaranteed red jar drops if it could spawn. And in palaces 3, 4, 6, and 7, it's either a 50% chance of a red jar or a 50% chance of an enemy spawning. The enemy depends on the palace we are in.
Well, we've got Linkorange making his way in Palace 2 here. This is a pretty fun palace. There's a lot of key rooms, a lot of really out-of-the-way stuff that you only do in the all keys category. This is probably the one with the most detours of all the palaces that make it different from their non-all keys counterparts, but a lot of neat stuff in here. Those 2 Doom Rattlers, there's some ways of fighting those. Linkorange took those pretty safely, but there's some pretty risky strats for getting through that key room.
Yep.
Has he had an accidental death yet, Linkorange?
I don't believe he has. We can definitely check his life total.
Yeah, we'll see.
However, I didn't see if he picked up the graveyard one up or not, so I don't know what we're looking at for a total here.
Yeah, I did not see that either.
But definitely, this is one of those palaces, as Fiza was saying, where depending on the route that you're running will definitely depend on the path you take through. However, the one thing to note about the palaces in this game is the first 4 palaces that we're going to see here, aptly palaces 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are all linear palaces throughout the game, whereas you basically have to go through every room to progress through the palace if you're doing it normally. Palace 5 is the one where we start differentiating from that path, and the path becomes non-linear. There are false walls, there are dead ends, there are rooms that you don't need to go into. So that's also something to take a look at, or to remember when playing this game, is there are definite rooms. The farther on you get in the game, the more trolly the game decides to become.
Speaking of trolly, we're in the room of trolling right now. These bots right here are very dangerous enemies to deal with, very unpredictable. They can change direction, they can jump, no real indication about what they're going to do. So Linkorange was at a bit of risk there, but managed to get through without getting knocked into the lava. We've seen that claim a lot of victims in these races.
Yeah, that was actually a very smooth room with how awkward it started off. Yep, and that's another one of those statues that spits out the red jars we were talking about there.
Can Link get in here without any more encounters? Not with that pattern, he can't.
Nope.
Alright, both players in Palace 2 now.
Absolutely.
Falling block section here goes well for Orange. It's not a lot you can do about it at this point if those blocks decide to just fall in a nice wall or in front of Link, which is rare but totally possible and completely unfair.
And we get a despawn from Linkorange here. Despawns the red iron knuckle. Some people like that because it's a little bit faster, and some people don't because they count on that 100 experience that you would normally get from that iron knuckle.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what category Linkorange falls into.
I don't either, but the item that despawned red iron knuckle was guarding is the handy glove, or the power glove for those who may or may not think it looks like an item that may or may not allow you to play games horribly. But what the power glove or the handy glove allows you to do is it turns Link's sword into a pseudo jackhammer, because it allows him to break all the blocks that you see in the game. And we're going to be needing that throughout the rest of the game. And this item, the importance of this item is twofold because, well, one, or let's say twofold, wrong word. This item is important enough that the any percent runners will also stop and grab it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need it in every category. Wow, Linkorange making short work of that Staphos and head on the wall spitting things room.
I love the descriptions.
I mean, these rooms need names. I like how in Super Metroid all the rooms have names, but in this they don't. We gotta start coming up with ones.
Well, I can definitely do that. I mean, I know we were doing that for the Z1 tournament. A bunch of stuff for the start had no names, and by the end of it, everything has a name.
We can name it after whoever screws up most badly in that room in the races. We can name that room after them.
Well, so let's see. So the key room in Palace 5 is the Bad Breaks
We'll call
room.
it the Bad Breaks room.
Any of the rooms with falling blocks, the Cantaloupe rooms.
I think the Light Z room in Palace 3.
Yep.
Oh man, that really he had some real problems with that.
Plastered his name all over that one.
Yep.
But that's a shame too, because it's always fun when these names sort of emerge organically and have a bit of a story behind them. I guess there's a bit of a story when you name them after a player.
Well, Link Sevens is playing it real safe here.
Yep, he's like, please, you stupid, get over it.
Come on!
Friggin'...
Right.
Alright.
Hopefully you can do the
That's
rest
why
of this.
bots are horrible and bits are sweeties.
Okay,
Bits
there we
being
go.
the red palette swapped version of the bots. Bots
Totally
being
different.
the things. Yeah, totally different.
Well, Linkorange going into the helmet head fight. Got plenty of experience here with 5-2-3. He's already 144 more experience than what he really needs.
And Howie Mandel hype for those who have been waiting for me to say it all day.
There we go, Howie Mandel. With his bald head. So,
And his menacing, overshadowed eyes.
yep.
And more
The way
importantly,
Howie Mandel has.
yep. More importantly, Linko with the swag key grab.
Yes, that is truly the most important thing.
So, yeah, getting his experience up above 200 means that once he killed that boss, he would be above 400. 400 was what it would cost to get the next life level. And the reason why you want that is because when you place the crystal in this monument at the end of the palace, the game will look at whatever is the next level up that you could get but can't afford yet, like the next one that's available to you that is above your current experience total, and it'll boost your experience up to whatever that next level is. So you want to make sure that you've already passed the amount of experience needed for the next magic level and the next life level, so that the next level up is going to be the attack level, usually several thousand experience compared to several hundred. And so that's what these guys are trying to do in every palace that they can, just to get the most out of the palace bonuses.
Yep, it's kind of the key that lets speedruns keep up with what the developers sort of intended their stats and levels to be. Speedruns love to skip things and do things under-leveled, but by getting these big bonuses from the palaces, you actually keep up with the sort of intended level curve very nicely.
Maybe even staying ahead of it, and doing all of this without any grinding.
Yep.
Linkorange doing a little bit of a dance here, trying to manipulate the monsters, and he succeeds.
He was automatically assuming he was just getting the iron knuckle, just left. And like, oh wait, I got a jar, I gotta go back.
He's like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to slash that thing. Oh wait, it is a jar.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, there was a 50-50 shot of it being a jar or a red iron knuckle, and he got the one he wanted there. Yep. So having magic refilled there, that lets him, if he wants to, that's going to let him cast the jump spell a couple of times. He might need it if he falls down accidentally when he's trying to make the 4-tile jump, and he might also use the jump spell in the room, in the, what is it, the Light Z room? The room with the lava and all the bots in this palace.
I guess that's what it is now. Much to his chagrin.
Yeah.
Why we could name it where players come up with really cool clutch strats. Then they get the name, and
Let's do that.
it's positive.
Mostly
Or
that
we'll do
room can
both.
only take. That room doesn't give, it just takes.
Yeah, so unfortunately.
Yeah, so this is a room that you might see Linkorange casting jump in if he misses this 4-block gap right here, and he gets it.
Nice.
That's just barely narrow enough for Link to get across, and sometimes if you fall down, it's much easier to just cast jump to get out of there. So Linkorange skipping that red iron knuckle. He's not needed. There's plenty of experience available in this palace.
Yeah, you see over on Link 7's stream there, trying to stab at the Doom Rattler, accidentally taking out some of the blocks below his feet. So that can also happen when you're trying to stab at things. That's also something you're going to want to look out for in rooms where they're trying to crouch stab and not down stab, because you could accidentally break blocks.
Well, right here, Linkorange could have cast the jump spell. He also could cast the life spell. He's about to get his magic refilled, so he better use it for something. Let's hope he remembers after this thing. Oh yeah, he does. And he does it too late. And he just bonked himself in the head. He just hit himself in the head right there.
Boop! Could have had a V8. And meanwhile, Linko is picking up the raft, which is the dungeon item of Palace 3 here, or the palace item, excuse me for using the word dungeon, how dare I. It does exactly what it does in Zelda 1. You leave off of a dock, you sail across the way, and you eventually end up on the island where level 4 is located.
We are seeing the jump strats coming out of this room. Meanwhile, Link 7's is fighting Helmet Head. There we go. Manages to get that kill in there. He was down to his last bit of health. So.
Yeah, last second block of the projectile there. Nice way to keep it cool.
Mm-hmm. So he will be getting to his attack 6. Oh, go ahead.
Meanwhile, Orange is really wishing he got the most out of that magic, because suddenly he's finding himself really low on life here.
Yeah, he cast the life spell, but now he's all out of magic, so he can't cast it anymore. Fortunately, there's no other required casts of any other magic in this dungeon, but it is nice to come into Rebanak with full magic and the ability to cast the life spell.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And for those wondering why Rebanak makes sense for a name, the Japanese translation of it is Rebel Knuckle, which is why that iron knuckle is riding on a pony.
They're very rebellious.
Yep. Well, you have to be a rebellious knuckle to a nice red jar there for Linko, but you have to be rebellious to come charging in on Rainbow Dash like that.
And especially when you're the only one. Well, no, I guess there's 3 of you.
It's
out
3
there.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that makes sense.
Wait.
What's with all the fairies here? Link's getting fairies left and right, or Link 7's is getting fairies left and right. Will he make it to the tomb? He gets the tomb skip.
Yes!
Uh-oh.
No
Well,
tomb for him.
he made it through that encounter okay. That wasn't too bad. And right here you see him equipping the fairy spell. Oh wait, let's watch this Rebanak fight. Trying to get that Rebanak to stop on the left side of the screen so that he can do this.
Come over here.
Cooperation. There we go.
Gets it.
Eventual cooperation.
So since there are 3 of these Rebel Knuckles, can we just refer to them as Athos, Porthos, and Aramis?
You're welcome to do that.
Bonus points if anyone actually gets what I'm referencing.
D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan would be the 4th one. Yep, there's only 3, and we can't reference the 4th.
Maybe Barba's the 4th one. I don't know.
Barba's Boss Guma is D'Artagnan.
Gaspard, Melchior, and the other one.
Caspar and Balthazar.
Balthazar.
Melchior. Or Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. How about that? That's an obscure one. Thanks, Persona. Anyway,
Sure.
Cheap video game and movie references or book references aside.
You know,
Yep.
so I guarantee someone out there just smiled.
Yep.
One person. That was for you.
Well,
That's
we
how
got
that goes.
Link 7's in Palace 3 right now. He's in good shape experience-wise. He's got 623, which is exactly what he needs, so there's plenty of experience available for him. Linkorange getting some random encounters on the way to the Fire Town. That's going to set him back, but he's already a full palace ahead of Link 7, so he's in good shape as long as he doesn't have a game over. Well, we've already talked a little bit about this Fire Town here, but the main thing you need to do is get over to the fountain, pick up some water, walk 20 feet to your right, and hand it to this very lazy woman who doesn't want to walk over herself. Maybe she just doesn't know there's a fountain right there. She's never wandered one screen to the left of her home.
I don't know. I'm gonna take the high road here and not rant about it.
I think that she sees this strapping young man show up at her doorstep.
It's a
And
ruse.
she's just inventing any sort of reason
It's like, yeah,
to
I
get
need
him in
some
her house.
Water? Sure, yeah, some water. Why don't
Yeah.
you do that?
Okay, that's the first viable explanation I have heard of why she can't get her own water. That she just wants, to get a little. I'm not going to finish that thought.
You can use the hashtag what's up with Firetown girl and give us your reasons why she lets Link into her house.
I guarantee you we'll
Naburu
check.
rant.
The brewer rant. Yeah, we'll definitely check that. I'll be sure to.
We're branching out, engaging with social medias here. We're getting next level.
Yep.
All right, what's going on with this race? We're heading up to Maze Island here.
Yep, a lot of encounters. Linkorange is doing some rather unconventional strats there, and
they work.
manages to work. It works for him.
Yeah, you did. Unconventional is one word for it.
Right. He's certainly taken a risk, and he got some very favorable spawns, so he's in good shape there. But we've got 2 more treks through that forest area to come, so we'll see how those go for him.
Meanwhile, what he was heading towards initially was this little cave here on Maze Island where there is a small kidnapped child. You need to rescue this kidnapped child and then bring him back to his family in the mountain town of Darunia. Once you do that, you'll gain access to the Reflect spell, which is required to defeat the boss of Palace 4, the angry wizrobe known as Karok. In addition to picking up the Reflect spell in Darunia, we are also going to be picking up the Upstab, which is the second and final sword technique of the game.
See, Chad has opted for just 5 different variations on the sexual innuendo rather than actually come up with something new. But I appreciate it all the same. Getting back to this race, we're looking at some more conventional ways of manipulating monster encounters on the way to Darunia here. It did look like he didn't quite do it right, but once again the monsters are on his side here. And we'll see. It's possible he got the 1 pixel, but okay, I'm behind then. Darn. I'm gonna try to catch up a little bit.
I just didn't see any movement, so I didn't actually know. I was just taking a fairly educated guess and sounding like I knew what I was talking about, which is normally what I do on these things anyway.
Yeah, you either sound really smart or you mess up, and then that's funny.
Exactly.
It's win-win.
Yes, I'm here for all of your esports entertainment.
Let's see how many tries at the Darunia super jump here for Orange. It's a neat little trick. Someone in chat wanted to point out that it's frame perfect, not pixel perfect. I suppose the distinction does matter.
Which is frame perfect?
The super jump.
A frame perfect trick would be a trick that is required to hit the button on a certain frame to gather. I don't believe I think you have a small window where you can jump. I think it's pixel perfect because you actually have to clip into the correct pixel on the roof. Diesel, can you confirm or deny that?
I think most people think about it in terms of the pixel you have to jump.
I think it's a
lined
pixel
up
that
with
you
the
jump
wall.
from. I don't know if it matters what frame exactly. I think about 2 frames per pixel when Link moves. So I think maybe either of those, it might be a 2-frame trick, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to apologize. When I said distinction, I mean that there is a difference between a frame perfect trick.
Frame perfect trick?
Frame perfect trick. Frame perfect trick. No, can't do it.
A frame perfect
and a pixel
trick.
perfect trick. There's a difference between them, but the distinction between the two kind of doesn't matter. It's hard to do. There you go. So he did. He got it pretty good there. And he's on to the reflect spell. This is why he got the lost child on Maze Island and came all the way back over here. And it's necessary to fight the Palace 4 boss. Getting some encounters here on 7 screen as he arrives in Nibiru for the first time. Very hard to dodge encounters as you get off that raft.
Yeah, and you'd think it would be nice and easy because it's just grasslands, so the monsters spawn far away, but they can be kind of tricky. Once the second set appears, usually they're in some bad places. The first ones maybe have gotten to some bad places.
For those of you missing your Firetown girl, there she is again over on Sevens' stream, so there we go.
Enjoy.
I feel like that's the name of like a I don't know, like I don't want to say like a rock ballad, but you know, some kind of
Firetown Girl.
kind of love song.
Firetown,
Yeah,
that sounds like a 80s power ballad, right?
Yeah, just a good old Firetown girl.
Well, let's see how Linkorange does with this walk right here. And immediately he's got an encounter, so not good for him. Once you get into one encounter, it's pretty tricky to get back onto track to do any kind of setup to avoid the rest of them. So he's got yet another encounter, and he might very well take a third one.
Yeah, he's gonna need a slink here. Oh, he gets lucky.
Oh, he gets lucky. Back
Nice,
spawn.
lucky spawn.
And that fairy that appeared right in front of him managed to go the opposite way, so good on him there.
My
So
white
you're
snake.
now-
Yeah.
Yeah, we're now back in Maze Island. So Maze Island is it's a maze, for lack of a better term. And the path you're going to see the runners take here is the most long and drawn out path on the overworld that they can take. But the reason that they're taking it is because it is the one that has the fewest forced encounter tiles. So even though it takes the longest to walk there by distance definition on the overworld, it's still the shortest real-time wise because of the few number of encounters.
On Link 7's stream, he was doing the manipulation right, and then he walked one tile too far. At the very edge of the forest, very edge of the grasslands, he walked to the right instead of up, and ended up getting an encounter, which then led to a second encounter. So that's an unfortunate time loss for him. Really needs to be catching up with something, and the encounters were a great way to do it.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, over on Linko's stream, I would like to welcome everybody to Palace 4, the Maze Palace.
So this palace is divided into 2 sections. Right here, as Linkorange comes off the elevator, he can go either right or left. Right is the way to the boots, that's the item in this palace, and left is the way to the boss. So he's going to be back here again once he finishes the right side. Now we see Link 7's hopefully setting up a nice encounter manipulation. He's waiting here till the music gets to a certain point in time, which tells him those enemies are about to spawn. Then he starts to walk, and then he ducks into here. Again, he walked one square too far. You want to turn upwards right there on the square right before he got into that encounter to avoid it. And so right now, he's really not sure what he's going to be facing. Fortunately, a fairy encounter. Maybe he can get all the way to this fixed encounter before the next one. He does, and he gets the skip first try. Nice going there, Link.
And then both links go, thanks.
Yep.
So this bridge, fire bridge room you see that Linko is in, this is one of 3 rooms that look very, very similar here in Palace 4. Opting not to take it here, but those 3 rooms are the rooms where in Palace 4 you will see a lot of runners take intentional deaths. 1, it saves time walking back, and 2, and the more common reason you will see them take the deaths is to get the refill on life and magic. Sometimes, most of the time, the only one of those deaths that you're pretty much guaranteed to see the runners take is the one in the 3rd and final room there. And that strictly is because you need almost a full magic bar to cast Reflect for Karok. and by dying there and getting a full refill, you'll have it going into the final stretch of the dungeon.
Link Sevens gets a 4th try rooftop jump. Not bad. He did save some time, even having to do it 4 times.
Yeah, 7 is sort of the break-even point. But 3 seems to be, well, I don't know. It was common with a large number of the first few races we cast, but since then the distribution has sort of evened out a little bit.
And we'll see if he takes a death here. He very well might. And he does. Linkorange takes one here. There's one more place in this dungeon where you might want to take a death. He's got 5 lives at this point, so he's in good shape. He can certainly afford to take the death in the 3rd lava room. So that means he's got all this magic right now to work with. He can cast the life spell. He can cast, I don't know what else you need. Maybe the jump spell if the breakable blocks room goes wrong. But he's got quite a buffer of safety right here.
Yep. So those fire bridge rooms, we got to come up with a name for those, because fire bridge rooms, or that just doesn't sound right. Death bridge? Can we call them the death bridges?
Death bridge, yeah, sure.
Is there a bridge reference we could make?
Or the bridges over the River Kwai, I guess.
Link is going for the encounter skips. Link Sevens is going for the encounter skips. Does not get good monster spawns, though.
No.
Come down here.
Oh,
Get over to
he could have. If he'd waited just a little longer, he might have been able to get it. And he's not going to go for the encounter. He's going to keep trying to get the skip. Gets it the 2nd time, fortunately. Often we'll see players, once they miss it once, they'll just go straight through the encounter and not try to skip it. Come on, get over there. There we go. He gets just the right pattern, fortunately, to be able to make this 2nd encounter skip. And let's see if he knows how to do the manipulation in the forest. No, he apparently doesn't, because he's just going to run for it. This is really tricky to get through here without encounters if you don't have some kind of setup. And yeah, he's taking his 2nd encounter, and he'll probably get one more before Maze Island again.
Well, he gives himself a chance with the desert there.
Oh, still got hit, but yeah, he had a chance. Once you're in the desert, the monsters spawn farther away. It's a bit easier to dodge, but still can be a problem.
So we've had some suggestions for those bridge rooms. We have Bridge on the River Dai and Bridges of Hyrule County.
Yeah, I was thinking we should call it Madison County.
The Madison County rooms?
Yeah. It's just he's entering Madison County. You can take it. You can kill yourself in Madison County. Saves time.
Sure. Well, we got Linkorange in the 3rd and final of the lava rooms. He did cast a bunch of magic on the way here, so he is probably going to take a death or try to get the red jar. Let's see. He does get a red jar. He says, you know what? We'll just take the death.
Don't care.
Nope.
Don't care. He had to slash at it just to see. Just to see.
Yep.
So the reason he wants to do that, he wants full magic, or as close to full magic as he can get, so that he can cast the reflect spell at the boss. That reflect spell is going to take, I think, 5 bars of magic, so you got to be pretty far up there to be able to cast it, and now he can. And Link 7's finally entering Palace 4.
Now we've opened the door to just all sorts of random TV show pseudo puns, wordplay in general.
Yep. Oh, come on. And you know, Lemon Kitsune, I'm very upset because if you're going to go there, you went with the absolutely wrong one. If that's the joke you're going to go, it's absolutely Maze of Our Lives.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you. And welcome to the Karok fight, everybody. This is the most random fight in the game because all you do is sit in the corner and hold down after casting a reflect spell. Karok decides when he wants to appear and get hit by his own beam. So sometimes it can be really quick, sometimes it can be really trolly. This is opting to be really trolly.
Yeah, definitely towards the trolley side. This is worse than average by a lot. That's a lot worse than average.
Yep.
Yep.
At least he didn't die.
Yeah, at least he
I've
didn't
seen
die.
one player die, and that is the epitome of bad luck on Carrick.
Yep.
And Link 7's running into the situation where the Doom Knocker did not die, so he appears there on the way back and gives you some trouble. But he's conserving his magic here. He does not want to cast the jump spell, so I'm assuming that's because he's not going to take a lot of deaths. Maybe none. Maybe he might not take any. Linkorange on his way to Palace 5, though. He's going to go directly there, most likely. We'll probably see him skip the heart container. Some people get it ahead of time. But Linkorange is not. He's going right to Palace 5.
Yep, so we're definitely going to see a river dance setup here.
Coming out of Palace 5.
That's right. We'll try to remember to talk about that when it happens, because it's a fun little trick that's so easy to do if you want a little monster manipulation to get you started on your Zelda 2 runs. If you're planning on picking this game up, it's a nice easy one to learn. We'll explain it afterwards.
Meanwhile, Sevens gets tag teamed by some Stalfos, brings him down to low life, forces him to cast the life spell, and now he's not looking too great on resources here.
Yeah, and he doesn't really need to fight those Stalfoses. You can skip a lot of stuff in here just because you don't need too much experience. Many people will take life 4, life 4, but not everyone does. It's not necessary.
Mm-hmm. And Linko definitely remembering to go pick up the key here in Palace 5. I definitely think that by this point in the tournament, everybody who was watching the BB race last week is going to remember to pick up that key from now until the end of time.
Yeah,
Or they're just going to feel even worse about it when it happens to them.
Oh,
So, woo, I thought maybe he was going for some kind of
he was
death
considering.
warp there, but it's
Oh.
just an honest mistake stumbling into the fire.
Yeah, he was considering taking a level up there, maybe because his his magic and life is so low. I don't know what his plan's going to be at this point. If he's not going to take another level up, which I don't know that you can afford another level up here, he's going to be in dire straits because there's... Oh, yeah, go back for that blue jar. Maybe he can make up some nickel and dime change here to get enough magic to cast life, but there's nothing available as a refill anywhere. And there it is. The
man.
bot decides to make that question easy to answer.
They're so trolly. He's just sitting there and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
I believe it's
going, yeah, and
yeah,
he's dead.
yeah, because they can change directions and they can jump without any warnings. It's really hard to read those things. I think it said he had 3 lives there, right?
Yes.
So he can afford to die 2 more times and still continue, and still be able to play without using a continue. Those are 1-based numbers right there, not 0-based.
Meanwhile, Palace 5 torn up pretty good by range here. It's definitely his race to lose at this point. Only a game over is going to close this gap, and he seems to be aware of that. He seems to be playing pretty safe, holding on to most of these lives he's accrued here. So things would have to unravel pretty hard here for this to swing the other way. But that's okay. We can take a look at both of these journeys through Hyrule here and see how both players do here.
Oh my, somebody's mic exploding.
Yeah, that would be mine, as my internet decided it wanted to die for about 10 seconds and Skype was trying to reconnect me. That's what that was. Sorry about that.
That sounds like something Skype would do.
Yep.
You're losing connection? Oh, well, here. I got it.
Have some random noise.
Let me just spit out noise for a while. That'll cover. Or maybe it's insulting. Maybe it's like no one will know the difference if I just go ahead and like might as well. Yeah.
Well, it is me doing commentary, so the
Yeah,
white noise
exactly.
Probably,
Like, it's
probably better anyway.
Oh, well, I wasn't gonna go that mean.
I will.
I was gonna pin it on Skype, but okay.
Well, Linkorange going for a red jar here. Nice easy one to get. He does not cast the life spell. I bet he's regretting that. He had a free cast of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, Linko not getting the swag key grab there, so minus points for him.
And looks like Link Sevens is probably not planning on taking the death here because he would normally cast the jump spell. You would normally want to because this is a really dangerous room to do without the jump spell. But I'm guessing he's either going to hope for a red jar here.
Which he gets.
Which he gets. Oh, so good luck. Good luck for him there.
Meanwhile, over in the Ocean Palace on Linko's screen, that blue Iron Knuckle being a bit of a troll and deciding to interrupt the I Got a Thing pose, and the thing that Linko just picked up is the musical plunger, aka the flute, which is going to be required to skip the River Demon coming up. It's the only thing that can get him out of the path, and also required to open up the entryway to Palace 6.
He had a really close call there with the Iron Knuckle. He had the sort of invisible health. Where it looks like he's got nothing.
Yeah, zombie mode Link. He could have cast life, but he was holding off on it. I don't know if that was intentional or what. But eventually he cast life, and now he's back on track. He could not... I don't think he can cast it again yet, but he will get a red jar coming up in a couple of rooms. So that'll give him another nice refill. He can afford to cast life on it and still have enough for shield and maybe another life spell for Guma.
He's gonna want it if these Magos keep playing the way they were. Two of them just jumped him straight up in a hallway there, and they're really good about. They throw a fire on the ground, and they're also got their hitbox active behind it, so you can't really jump over it till they're gone. And while the fire's there burning, another one can teleport where the fire is, throw another one down. They can get really nasty if you have to stop, basically. If you can just keep going, often they'll spawn in places that are totally, just not even a factor. But sometimes the stars align and Magos become a big problem.
Yeah, two things I want to point out there. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it there because of Karok, but right before Sevens killed Karok, he did have 1337 XP, so that's a little bit of swag points there.
Oh, neat.
Yep.
Yeah, not a very good Karok fight. That's not Link 7's fault. That's completely random, but it was the game just doing its worst to make it hard for him. Linkorange had basically the same problem. He had a fight that was just as bad as that.
Yeah, he saw the experience he came into the fight with, and he's like, oh, come on, man. It's 2015. Yep. Jesus.
Yeah. Nope. Okay, you're going to come in with that? No, I'm just going to troll you. Sorry. No love. No soup for you.
It's worse than the guy on Jeopardy who bets 1337 Final Jeopardy.
That's trolling.
Yeah, that sure is. Well, Link 7's is going for this heart container early. I guess he's not planning on doing the river dance manipulation. Linkorange, though, coming into the Guma fight, he's definitely cast shield there. And let's see how he does this.
Looks like we're going traditional.
Cast life, man. Cast life. It's not worth it.
Wow.
He's still low life, though.
Oh. Wow. I think my favorite part about watching this right now is the fact that on the multi-Twitch we have the webcams up, and watching his reactions are so good.
Yeah, he was pretty unhappy about that.
Yeah, he whiplashed himself at that one.
Yeah, it wasn't even just like a head movement. There was movement like in the shoulders, chest, and back. All of it,
like everything,
swing all the way back with the head palm.
Yeah, his whole body hated that.
Yep.
But he got through it. And Link 7's remembers to go back for the Bad Breaks key.
Oh, yes, that's definitely the BB key now.
Yep. He's shaking it off. He's smiling. He's all right.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to see here a really nice and easy manipulation that you can do. If you save this heart container for after Palace 5, you come in here, and not only do you get to cast the fairy spell, because you're about to get your magics refilled for free here when you take the level up, but on the way out... there's basically two sets of monsters that spawn. One is based on a timer that keeps repeating along with the music. You can time it with the music, and the other is based on the number of steps you take. And what these players try to do is align it so both of those encounters happen at basically the same time in a place. Well, no, actually you want to set it up so one of the encounters happens while you're still on the path and gets skipped, and the next one happens immediately. So you see him take 2 extra steps there in the water. And now he's going to go into the grasslands right here by the town for just a moment, and that causes that one set of monsters to appear, and the other set of monsters didn't appear at all, and he gets all the way up to the River Devil. So all you have to do is take 2 extra steps in the water, and he did not get the fence skip. That monster spawned a little bit too soon.
Everything up to there, the execution was good, though. That's just the game being the game.
Yep, every now and then that'll happen. You're pretty much guaranteed to be able to get all the way to the river demon without getting a monster. But whether you get the fence skip or not depends.
Yep. So meanwhile, as we have Linko there running through the set of fence encounters, Sevens is still making his way through the rest of Palace 5, casting the jump spell here to get up to this key. Blah, 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 blah. I can't talk anymore, apparently. Wow.
Yep, these fence encounters take a while, so it is really good to be able to skip that. Anybody who's going for a PB and has a sub 120 times might even consider resetting when they don't get it. But here, Linkorange is coming through a really tricky manipulation area. Oh, he gets a back spawn, but it does not look like it would have been a pattern that would have let him get through without an encounter. So maybe he can get into this cave without another one. Yeah, he gets a good encounter there.
Absolutely. So this cave, there are two ways that we've been seeing runners go through this cave. The one that Linko just did is the one we've been seeing more often, the fairy method. You're also going to see several other runners use the fire spell to kill the Tektites, which are the blue giant spider-like things. Tektites are part of the Big Six group, so they will influence the drops of pea bags and red jars. And this cave is going to lead us to this little patch of forest, where you use the hammer to cut down the tree and reveal the entrance to New Kasuto Town. This town, unlike most of the other towns in the game, actually has 3 items for us to get. The first one is the spell named Spell. The second one is a magic key, which requires the use of the spell called Spell. And the third and final one is the 8th and final magic container. So the magic containers in this game, what they do is they do a couple of things here. Each bar of magic is actually worth 16 MP. So a full magic 8 and 16, that's going to give you 128 full on your magic. But the magic containers themselves, in addition to giving you that extra bar of life, they also are required to learn the spells in the game. You need a number of magic containers equal to the level of the spell. The level of the spell being the location it is on your menu. So for example, the spell called Spell is 7th on the menu, which means you need 7 bars of magic to be able to learn it. Meanwhile, the spell called Spell, you cast it here at the end of New Kasuto to cause that shrine to appear. Within the shrine is the magic key. It does exactly what it says on the label. It opens up every other door in the game, and you need that because there are no key drops in Palace 6. To answer your question, Boss Luke, why everyone gets the magic container on the way out of town, it's a magic refill, so it allows them to cast Fairy to pick up both the magic key and the magic container, and then leave town with a full set of magic.
Yeah, you want to have full magic going into Palace 6, and that's the last place that you can get it refilled. Palace 6, you're going to be pretty tight on magic. They're not really going to have any extra to work with, so you can't afford to come out of this town with less than full magic, or else you got to take a detour someplace, maybe try to hope for a red jar. Link Sevens is finishing out Palace 5 pretty well here. He's coming down to the end. He's got one more key he's got to get, and then he's going to fight Goma. But he's doing just fine on experience. He has way more than he needs. He's got already 1294. You only need about 700 entering the boss room. So he's already well above what you need exiting the boss room.
And the 9,000 experience you see up in the top right, that is somewhat misleading, because technically 9,000 experience is what Sevens needs to get to, quote, Attack 9. However, Attack 9 does not exist in the game. If you take your 9th level in Attack, what that's going to give you is a 1-up. So what you're going to see the runners do, and you already saw Linko do it, is they're going to take the 9,000 experience and distribute that over several levels of life and magic. But do keep in mind that if you go onto the menu and you're smashing buttons too hard, there is the unfortunate side effect of you may accidentally take Attack 9. And welcome to Palace 6, the Hidden Palace.
Well, Link 7's coming into the Goomba fight here. He's not doing too well in life and magic. He can afford to cast the shield spell, but he cannot afford to cast the life spell. And as we saw in Linkorange's stream, this Goomba hits pretty hard. Even with the shield spell, he'll do a lot of damage. So there we go, get shield up.
It's looking like he can take maybe 2 hits here, and he's already thrown away one.
He can probably take one more hit.
He's going for the jackhammer. I think so, anyway. I can't think of any reason why he would play it the way he did.
Like that. Yeah, it's usually nice to jump over his head, bounce off his head, and get to the right side if you're not going to do the jackhammer. Wow, I'm not sure what his strat is.
I think his strat is stab and don't die.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he settles into this super safe, super consistent strategy, just poking him in the shins there.
Yep.
Yeah, hit him in the shins and retreat. It's a nice safe strat.
Also a good way to get shin splints.
Well, we got Linkorange coming into this room with a hidden pit. I'll show you right when he's about to go over it, but that's why he's casting Jump. It is right here. There we go. There's a 4-block gap that you can't see. There is a pit there. Oh, he gets a bad fire pattern.
Oh, the Moa.
The Moa. Link 7's is doing... Oh, Link 7's got a troll fairy there. Like we said, the fairies do not behave according to the rules, so that setup would have worked for any monster, anything besides a fairy there. And also... go on.
Ribbonack refight.
That's exactly what I was going to mention. Yep.
Super well there. Hung up a little bit on the horse section there. But
yeah, but that went pretty well.
Very smooth. And that Ribbonack is guarding the final item we're required to grab here in the game, the cross. What the cross does is it allows us to see invisible enemies, which will come into play a little bit later when we visit the town of Old Kasuto after leaving the Hidden Palace.
Link 7's here. You see him in the second of the fence encounters. He managed to skip the first one, so he did get an encounter skip there. He had to go back for it, didn't get it the first time, but he decided he was going to take the chance and try to get it the second time, and it paid off, so he still saved a bit of time there.
Yeah, so wow, can't even talk here. Palace 6 can be a bit trolly here because, as we've already mentioned, there is that hidden pit that nobody mentions to you, and I'm sure that most people playing through this game the first time definitely fell into it. I know I did. The other thing to know about Palace 6 is there are 2 required casts of fairy here in the palace. There is a room, basically a giant lava room where you have to fly over, and the room right before the boss you need fairy to get through. One other thing to note, that pit you just saw Linko falling through is actually an infinitely looping pit. You can just sit there and fall over and over and over again.
Yeah, we've seen someone fall one screen too far and had to loop all the way back around. So, yeah, here he is, Orange taking no risks in this room, stopping to upstab these unicorn head guys, clearing them out before moving on, pausing here to block this Wizrobe rather than risking running through him.
Yeah, he probably could have afforded to cast the spell to turn those things all into bots, but I don't know if that would have necessarily been better for him. They're actually these things called Muse, those little spiky things on the ground, are a bit easier to read than bots are.
Yep, and then you see Sevens making his way into New Kasuto, where he is picking up the spell. And he'll then be using that to pick up the magic key, and then finally get the magic container.
Well, we got another Ribbonack fight coming up. Really low health this time. Linkorange is going to have to be real careful here. I think he's standing in a spot for a traditional Ribbonack fight to get him up against the left side of the screen. This is the way you would fight him in Palace 3 when he first appears. And it's a nice, safe way to fight him rather than trying to go for the quick kill, which could end up getting you killed.
And more importantly, swag key grab.
That's right, very important stuff. So one last cast of Fairy for Linkorange here, and he's got plenty of magic to work with for that.
It's the life total I'm worried about.
Yeah, the life total is going to be his problem. He also has enough that he can cast the jump spell in the Barba fight. He can maybe also cast the shield spell here too, but I'm not sure with that amount of health that even that would save him from getting hit. I don't think we'll see a jackhammer, but we
I
might.
think we are. Looks like he's setting up for one at the edge.
Yeah, he was setting
going
up for
it.
one. He got bit by Barba, though.
Yep.
Still another. He can still take another death someplace, which is going to be helpful in Palace 7. All right, let's see a real jackhammer. Here we go. Not too far to the left.
Oh!
He got up. He actually got up and from his seat. He was so pissed.
What do you think here? Do you think another jackhammer on this one?
I don't think you can.
He
I think you
shouldn't.
have to go safe strats here.
He's doing it.
doing it
Oh,
again!
man.
He got it!
Third time's the charm.
He was cursing Barba out too.
He was
Yeah.
cursing Barba out, and Barba deserved that.
Look at that. Third time's the charm.
Ouch. That was worth it.
That was a really nice jackhammer, though. I hope he's proud of that.
The only way he
Yes.
gets anywhere close to losing this race is a game over. And then to do that, man.
It's so easy to game over. We saw that in the last race, BB almost fell in the water right here twice. There's lava pits all over on the way through Valley of Death. In Palace 7, there's so many things that can control you. Like, this is really dangerous for him right now. We might see Link 7's.
It's still
Catch up.
still dangerous, you're right. There's still a lot of ways to lose that last life there.
I wonder if we'll see Linkorange going for the swamp one-up. There's a one-up that is very rarely picked up, but at this point, that's the last one-up he can get until at the very end of Palace 7, so he might get it. If I were him, I sure would. I'll point out where it is. If he doesn't get it, I'll point out where it would be.
It looked like he was doing some mental calculations there in his head.
Well, these players are allowed to take an intentional game over once they enter Palace 7, because the Great Palace, because that is a spot where you can continue from. Everywhere else in the game, you continue from the very start. But once you get into Palace 7, any continue takes you right back to the start of Palace 7, so you don't have to get there again. He's casting Fairy on this bridge, not taking any chances. I don't blame him. I think he's doing the right thing here. Fairy on these bridges, and then pick up the red jar in Valley of Death to refill that magic. Fairy again.
There you go. Yep. I think my favorite thing about that first bridge though with the fairy is he was the entire time going over it. He had the Dr. Evil pinky up to his mouth, is rocking back and forth.
Yep. So let's see if he goes for the swamp one up. I don't think he is, because he's setting up this path encounter. So right north of where he was right there in the swamp, there's another one up that you can get. He's not going for it. And he gets the first encounter skip, and he's going for that red jar, of course. And that carryover from the magic refilling will last him to the next screen where he gets to cast Fairy for free now. Do it. He didn't do it. He let his magic total all the way up, and he could have used that last bit of magic that he had from before he hit the red jar to cast Fairy there, but he decided he was just gonna go ahead.
He's okay though. He made it through that screen okay. Made it through the next one okay.
And Link 7's getting an okay kill on Rebanak Part 2. Since we're using the term okay a lot.
Sure.
You only need to do okay. You don't need to do super great. You don't need to do super fast at this point.
Yeah, he just
All
needs to stay
Orange
alive.
needs is okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Link 7's picking up the cross there in Palace 6. You saw Linko fail the first encounter skip here and then leave and go back to do it. The reason you're going to see that is because these forced encounters are awful. I only say that because no one actually uses them. I don't actually know what they look like. I don't think anyone here actually does. Or if they do know what they look like, they don't remember them because they haven't seen them in so long. But it's definitely worth it to get the encounter skips here in the Valley of Death.
Yeah, I've seen them, but I don't think I could draw them from memory. I know vaguely what's involved, but there's a lot of stuff. You don't want to do them. Not worth it. So Linkorange going for the last encounter skip. Great pattern, no problem. He's just got to stay out of the lava here. Oh!
Oh my god!
He's up.
Jinxed him.
He's up from his chair. No, he's back. He's back down again. Okay, pull it together, Linko. You got a chance here.
Oh, wow.
All right, the long walk back. Just how far away is Valley of Death from the start of the game?
This is going to give Sevens a chance to catch up now.
There is a whole lot of Palace 6 left. And there's still that bit of side quest to grab the Thunder Spell. So I think even with a game over, it's still Still Orange's race to
It's-
lose here, but we'll see how this all shakes out in a moment.
This could get him close enough that maybe a few accidental deaths in Palace 7 could let Link 7's catch up.
The other,
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say the other thing to point out here is the fact that with taking that game over, it reset Linko's experience. So now he won't be able to, in theory, won't be able to get to Magic 8 in the Great Palace. So his Thunderbird fight is going to be a little bit different now because he's going to have less options.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Yeah, you do lose whatever experience that you haven't spent yet. You get to keep your levels, but any experience that hasn't been spent on a level is gone for good.
So he's through the return of the River Devil, and went for a fin skip there, didn't get it, wasn't sure whether he'd try it again, and opted to just go through, take all the bonks to the noggin with whatever they're throwing here. Coconuts, I like to think.
They're just rocks.
They're snipers with those things, man.
Alright, Link 7's is fighting the second Rubenak refight. Getting really close to the boss. This may end up being a pretty close race after all. Real nice kill there.
So Linko is now heading back to the Valley of Death.
Can he get the first encounter skip again? He barely does. Barely
Yep.
does. Cast life, man. There we go. Do it again. There we go. And will he cast Fairy this time? He gets a free cast of Fairy. May as well use it. Nope. Maybe he just...
Maybe
well, now he
doesn't
doesn't need the
know.
experience. I don't know. Link
So
7.
here we go. We're seeing he doesn't have enough to cast jump here, so you're going to see a sort of non-traditional Barba fight here, playing it very safe. Last thing he needs here is his own game over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not even taking any chances with the fireballs. You can time your jumps so the fireballs won't get you, but he is not going to risk that at this point. He needs to get through this without another death, and he does.
At the same time, though, he's not. He probably thought, like, I'm out of this race, and now all of a sudden he's not quite out of it. Not that far behind anymore. So it starts to be like, well, do I make an effort here to start catching up? Try to get back in this thing for real?
Yeah, I'd say he's still probably about 2 minutes behind Linkorange because he has to go into this town to get stuff, and then he's got to get through Valley of Death, which Linkorange is already halfway through. So it's going to take some. It's still going to take some more screw ups on Linkorange's part for this gap to close.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see that at this point. I'm sure he's going to be really aware that he can't afford to take any more
Yeah.
game overs.
I'm pretty sure he's got us on in the background anyway, because when I was setting up, I had the stream volume on and I could hear us in the background. So I think he's actually listening to us. So I'm pretty sure he knows what's going on. But that's definitely something I recommend, even if you don't have the time to watch us. Do have us on and listen to us in the background. We make wonderful addition to the background noise while you're cleaning the house, doing the laundry, wrapping Christmas presents. Highly recommended.
How's your day? Has it been good? I hope it's been good.
Wait, did you just go Bob Ross on us?
A little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Well, we got Linkorange and Palace 7 here. A lot of challenges here. I don't think this is one of the harder palaces, to be honest, but it is. It definitely has some things that, if they go badly, can go really badly. When you're coming in here, though, with all your lives, you can afford to just cast Fairy to get over every one of these spicy chickens. You can afford to cast Shield and Life anytime you need to pass a Bird Night, and just keep taking intentional deaths to refill your magic. You don't even have to rely on red jar drops. So when you are this far ahead and you have all your lives to work with, this palace shouldn't be bad at all.
Can he do all of that with Magic 7?
Yes, the only spot where that's really going to affect him is for the Thunderbird fight, because the Thunder spell is a lot more expensive at Magic 7 than Magic 8. It
Right,
goes down a
there's
huge amount.
Huge break point there.
Yeah, but everything else is mostly the same cost. I think Link 7's could have afforded to cast the life spell there. think he had enough left over to do that and still get to full magic after the jar finishes taking effect.
And for those who may not know what Fiesel is referring to when he was talking about the spells costing less, the leveling up in this game is a little bit crazier. Leveling up your magic doesn't give you more MP. What it does is it actually causes the MP costs of the spells you have to go down. Similarly, when you level up the life stat, it doesn't give you more HP, it increases your defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving you more effective health and more effective MP, if you want to look at it in those terms. But the way the game is working, that is absolutely true.
And Linko getting spicy chickened.
Yep, burned there pretty good.
Yep. I think he's gonna take a second to collect himself. I think he's on tilt a little bit right now.
Yeah, I would think so. But that's okay. He had a couple lives to work with. As long as he doesn't take 2 more deaths, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
He can afford to take 1 more, which he might choose to do right before the Thunderbird fight. Going back for that red jar because he's not going to take any risks. Cast life, yep.
And because I believe this is our favorite Blue Bird Knight coming up here, the one and only Scott Bakula.
We'll see what kind of trouble he has for him. Has a laser sword right there on landing.
That was a good jump to get up there too. That was a really strong room.
It's really hard to get that jump, to get 5 high and break 2 blocks at the top, and then also just get Link's toe on there. So nicely done by him. Meanwhile, Seven's working through Valley of Death here.
Yeah, a little bit of risk there, but he's finally through the last of those lava encounters.
Yep.
Orange, no more trouble with that spicy chicken. Moving on. Not a whole lot left here that can really mess with them. This Blue Bird Knight, of course, is capable of some fantastic things, but not going to be a problem today.
Yeah, pretty clean that time. He's got 1 more spicy chicken to get past, and then he's at the boss. Is he going to stop for either of those things? Nope. He doesn't need a fairy. He doesn't need a 1-up. He's in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
And the last real enemy right here.
Lets him by there. You think he's going to grab a jar and cast life? No.
I don't think he needs it. He's got enough health that I don't think it's worth doing. And at this point, taking a death at Thunderbird is not the worst thing. It's not going to lose him the race. He's just got to stay alive. He can't take 2 deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just going right in for it. So at Magic 7, you can afford to cast Thunder, and you can afford to also cast Jump. And I think you can also maybe cast either Shield or Reflect. He's going with Shield.
Yeah, you don't get
Let's
Reflect.
Hope you can. If you...
Nope.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
we're good.
Yeah. No, at Magic 7, you get Thunder and either Reflect or Shield and Jump. And Thunderbird just being Thunderbird here and raining death upon Linko.
Yeah, he
Okay.
wasn't playing it very safe, and he was going for some whirlwind hits, it looked like.
Well, this is his last life, so he better play it safe this time, because
Yep.
then Link 7's really will win.
Oh, he's making a really active effort to dodge fireballs here.
I don't know about this, guys. I don't know.
But he's getting on top of...
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
he's
oh,
up.
no.
He's gone.
Oh, no,
Wow.
he is way out of his... He's off screen, he's out of frame,
He's gone.
laughing and kind of covering his face.
He better freaking move, though, because now Link 7's is
now
just pulled ahead of
losing.
him.
He is,
Oh, wow.
for the first time since the very, very beginning, the lead has changed here. And I don't think... I don't know what either player knows about each other at this point. Like, I'm looking at the chat for Sevens, and no one there is like, oh my god, you're in the lead all of a sudden. Like, no one... I have no idea.
No.
But
Yeah, I gotta say,
it's his now. It's his race to lose at this point.
yeah, it really is. There's no way that Linkorange can catch up to Link 7's unless he has a game over. I don't think that even all the rest of his deaths taken all at once here in the worst spots will change the outcome.
Nice.
It's gonna be close though. It's gonna be real close. Because as you can see, Sevens has 1 bar of health left.
Does he have any lives? I think he has at least 1.
I think
I
he
don't
does.
know.
Let's see when he goes into his menu. See what that thing
Yeah.
says. Remember that the number is 0 based when you look at it in the menu.
Yep. So his chat now just telling him that he's in the lead. I can see that on his stream here.
Ooh, straight through that spicy chicken.
Nice. Oh, no trolling here. Oh, we got a troll pattern. Just walk out of the room. If you see that, turn around and walk out of the room.
Oh,
because-
there's a death.
Let's see
Okay.
what he's got left here.
He's
Final
on
life.
his last life. So if he dies, it's back to Lincoln. Wow.
Wow, this has turned into a really
This
tense race.
race, though.
Okay, yeah, be super
I mean,
safe.
eventually one of these players will finish, right? Like, they're not
Someone
just
has
going
to.
to keep doing this endless cycle here.
The pace car will beat them all.
Yeah. By the end of this race, I might have finished a run.
All right.
No.
Yeah, if you see that Bird Knight jump up to you right there, he's going for the 1-up.
1-up.
Just don't get
man.
killed in the lava. This is
Don't fall in the lava. For the
troll
love of
bots
God.
in lava.
They all suicide for him except for that one. Yes, there it goes.
Smart play
Out
here.
of the way.
Real smart play. Get this last one up. It's way out of the way. People don't go after this thing, but my goodness, this is the right play for him now.
What?
Just wait for it, man.
Forgot they respawn.
Don't. Just wait for it, dude.
Got
And
the
this
height
is why
advantage.
bots
You
are
could
trolling.
just-
Oh
yeah,
my
you could
gosh.
just jump it down stab, but nope. He's waiting for it. He's got the life. He's got to get through a last spicy chicken here.
Oh, wow.
He was really playing strong here.
Oh, it wants him. It wants blood here. Yeah,
It comes
cast
way
life,
out.
man. Go for the red jar. Do whatever you have to do to stay alive
Yeah.
here. Don't
Just
even
stay alive, man.
Don't even try. I think that he could take the intentional death here, but at this point he could afford to go after that red jar a bunch of times before it stops being worth his time. But let's see what he does. He's not taking the intentional death.
No, so he might just be opting to go for the red jar here.
At
And
Magic
take-
8, he probably doesn't even need to do that, to be honest. He might consider just going right. But no, he goes left. He's got a 50-50 shot. Will he get it?
Nope.
He doesn't. He actually did that in the wrong order. You want to break the lower, just the upper block, not the lower block. But he can still afford to go back for this a number of times before it stops being worth it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think with Linkorange, I think the reason he's playing it this safe is because he wants to have that cushion life for T-Bird, as opposed to taking the intentional death and going into T-Bird with 1 life. So I think it's just a variant of how you want to do your safety strat here. And this just became a race, boys and girls.
Linkorange
because...
is catching up.
Yeah.
Yep. He's got the spicy chicken here.
Oh my gosh, Link 7's not getting it.
Oh my god.
Maybe if I were him, I would just go and do Thunderbird now.
Yep.
Dude, you can't
Back.
afford any more of these.
Nope.
This is the last one
Linkorange
you can
is
do,
just
man.
about to take the
He
lead
might not
here.
know exactly what's going on with his
There's
opponent.
the jar.
He
But
gets it.
Linkorange
Cast
just
life
stepped-
first.
Ooh. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Linkorange taking an intentional death there, so he doesn't have to mess with these jar shenanigans. He's going to be fine.
No. This is going to come down to a Thunderbird fight here. Oh, wow.
So he saved all that time he used to save himself an extra life for this series of fights here. But if he dies,
Yeah.
that he's not gonna have enough time to come back and win here. So
Well, he didn't know that that was the case when he
didn't
decided
know that
to go
was.
for it.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have all the information here to make these decisions.
Nope.
So he's trading hits here. You want to do a little better than trade hits with Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, if he
man,
gets
this is
hit with
so
a
close.
Fireball. This is so good.
You gotta actually
Oh!
attack to kill him. Okay. Okay.
Finishes
Oh,
it off,
wow.
but if Dark Link trolls him, he's lost this race.
Both players are at Thunderbird.
Yep.
Linkorange is going all out here despite what happened to him last time. If he has another death...
Maybe he knows he's got to go all out to catch up. Oh my God! This Dark
is
Link
the-
is going to decide
Oh
the
my
winner of
God. This
race.
game. This race. This is going to be so... Oh, wait. Is there a possibility of getting a tie here?
I
Not to bring
don't
up the
know.
T word.
I really don't think so, but all right, here we go.
Oh, Dark Link being a troll.
Okay.
Linkorange is really low on health too, though. If he gets jumped...
And also, that jump is avoidable. If you time your jump at the right time, you do not get hit there.
Oh! Linkorange is down too.
There it is. That's the undodgeable, though. If Link jumps in, you jump, but then as Link comes back out, he swings. He will hit you. As far as I know, there's no way to avoid that. But he's got so much health now. How can he lose?
Yeah,
right?
he can't lose
just-
now. Link Sevens has got this.
Wow.
Link Sevens is going
Wow.
to advance in the losers bracket, coming back from what, a 6-7 minute
He
gap?
was way behind. At least five. He was
way
5 minutes
behind.
plus behind.
Wow. That's insane.
I gotta say, Linkorange totally threw that one away. What, jackhammer strats on Barba, went all out on
All
Thunderbird.
out, yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do that. You just didn't have to do that. I think that was
Right.
not smart.
Could have gotten the one up in the swamp. There was a bunch of things that,
Could have gotten the one up in Palace 7.
yeah, and Palace 6. Both of those options, but he was confident in his ability, and it did not go his way. That was really unfortunate. And you know, he's a really good player. 125 is a good time. I bet he was just really confident in his skills. Done this 100 times, or hundreds of times probably, but it's still sometimes this happens.
He's also not mad, or he's not beating himself up or anything. He's got a big smile on his face. He realizes what a ridiculous situation he created for himself and how it ended. He was recording that as a movie, so he's going to go ahead and save that.
Oh, wow.
For good old
Oh no, it
time's
says.
sake.
Oh wow, I think it says no movie though. So
I think
he's.
he just stopped it.
Oh, he did. He did. Oh, so he was. He was recording that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that, yep, that's on him, man.
That's one of the
him.
most memorable races we've seen here. So at least he's got that.
Yep.